Hey, everybody. Welcome to the discussion. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see how it goes today, what we're going to talk about. I'm thinking that we're going to be talking at least somewhat about the new song, Home to Us, that was just released, dropped was it yesterday? I think it was. I can't remember now. It was the day before yesterday. Boy, it was midnight my time. Uh, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr. Let's keep in mind it's a duet. It's not a Paul song. It's a Paul and Ringo song. We'll talk about that. Even though Paul wrote it, there were other duets out there in history that were featured two artists, and doesn't matter who wrote it. It's a matter of who's performing on it, right? Okay, let's say hello to some people that are here already. Now we have Conga Man waiting. He says, "Hi, I am first." Conga Man, I don't know if you know this, but usually when somebody under a video, like if I have a video and somebody just writes first, I'm first, I immediately delete the comment. I'm not going to do that here because it's a live stream, but it's just food for thought because I don't know what people get out of that. And not saying you here because this is a live stream, you see. But when they comment on videos, I'm not sure I understand that. Okay, Ramoga, what's going on? Good afternoon to you. We have some heavy rain out there. It's a miserable heavy rain day today here. Hi, Gary, and you're saying WTGW, which is, I guess, what's the good word? I haven't said what's the good word in a while now, I gotta say. Hello, Robbie. Afternoon to you as well. GS Publishing Direct. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, Dino. What's going on with you? Good to see you. And Elementary Penguin. Hello, hello. Well, we don't have a lot of people here just yet in the comments. Of course, I did a video talking about the new song Home to Us. Why? I'm wondering why the comments here. I hope this is working. The comments here look light. It's weird. Like the print isn't dark as it usually is. The comments are light colored. Oh, there they go. I don't know. Okay. Hopefully, we're going to talk about the new song somewhat, and I'll tell you how I think it's an enjoyable, fun song, but way overrated and way overblown too. Let's talk about some of that. By the way, I expect to be very much alone in that, maybe 99% alone. But what do you think of Andrew Dixon's Abbey Road experience? I think it was amazing, and congratulations to Andrew for getting to go to Abbey Road to listen to the new album, The Boys of Dungeon Lane, with Paul McCartney in attendance to talk about the songs track by track. Pretty impressive, and very happy for him. Wish it was me too. Wish I could be there with Andrew and other people. The new Paul and Ringo song is cool. I'll go along with that. It's cool. Did you watch any new movies? I didn't watch any new movies, but I watched an old movie. So we'll talk about that on my next movie chat, which is on my other channel, Mr. Cinemayo. Put cinema and mayo together, and you get Mr. Cinemayo, and that's another channel dealing with movies and television. Ooh, what a lucky man he was! Yes, indeed, he was a lucky guy. That's incredible. All right. So, what's on everyone's so-called minds today? Okay, no, you're correct about the new tune. It's two old fellas singing about the past in a casual song. It's wonderful. It's wonderful that those two fellas are Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, two Beatles. Former Beatles, but remembering those days, those early days where they grew up in the war-torn ravages of Liverpool. And it is very much a enjoyable, jaunty, uplifting in a way kind of song. Just I don't know why people think it's another Penny Lane, because it's not, to say the least. Excuse me. I got allergies really cooking today, folks, so I'm going to be clearing my throat, coughing. I'll try to do some of that off mic if I can. Not all of it. Hi, Mike. I did not like the Paul and Ringo song. That's interesting. I heard it more than once. Very disappointed, but I love the first single, so not worried about the Paul album. I enjoyed both songs. I like The Days We Left Behind, and I like Home to Us. But I think I like so far, because it can always change. I think I like the Days We Left Behind better than Home to Us. My tooth. Well, we'll talk about. How about we talk about that later? Thank you for asking. It's much better. Let's put it that way. We'll talk about that hopefully on the channel, the other channel, lifestyle channel, which is Mayo Loves Mondays. I could talk about that with Danny on the Joe and Danny show. Uh, the way Paul described his hometown, he should have called the song Hell to Us. I get what you're saying. Excuse me. Wow. I get what you're saying, but I think that's the whole point. Even though it was kind of hellish, it still was home to them, and it was their hometown. And that's the point. I know that's the point of it. It's amusing, really, because I got a lot of comments, and that's fine. I mean, negative comments, I should say that. And that's fine. I always want a lot of comments. It's a great thing, but I got a lot of comments trying to teach me, school me in what the meaning of the song is. You don't understand. The idea is, even though it was bombed out, they had to live like that. But boy, it still was their home, and they have good feelings about it. I understand that. What do you think? I was born yesterday. I get it. Okay. I see Michael Noland is here. Hang on a little bit, Michael. I want to see your comment. I know you like the song quite a bit too, but did I say hello to George? Hello, George. Good to see you. I think that if John Lennon was alive today, it would be great to see him and Paul do a duet on a song like this. Could you imagine that? Sadly, that's all we can do is imagine that. That would be wonderful. Uh, I like comparing your reaction to the new song with Beatley tones. Always better to have two varying opinions than just one boring agreement. You should get tone up so we get the differences. I'll tell you, a little bit before I did the show, I got a comment from Beatley Tone, and we differ on the song. And I asked him to come up, but he said he's not able to come up, unfortunately, on the screen because he's out somewhere. He's not home. But he kind of said in the comments, he said, "Joe, I know your video was pointed at me." Well, I mean, you don't like to go in here and just mention, "Hey, you." It's you, Beatley Tone. But what I said was, and it's true. I mean, it wasn't just Beatley Tone that was, in my opinion, just my opinion, overly enthusiastic about this song. Um, I just didn't feel it was that great. I thought it was good and fun, but not great. And I just said basically it was other people too who kind of, in my opinion, overrated it. Um, but that he was the most over the top. He was the most vocal. In fact, when I watched the show with Beatley Tone, Kyle Hand, and Andy Nichols, when I watched that show, I did play it back, and even they said that obviously, Tone is the really excited one. They can't wait to chomping at the bit to talk about it. It's no secret. It's no surprise. Uh, let's see. I have never seen First Men in the Moon, so I don't know the movie. I've heard of it. Okay. I have not heard the new Rolling Stones yet, believe it or not. I know the story, everybody. I loved Hackney Diamonds. I thought that would be so fitting as their final album because it was so great. But I haven't heard the new one. Okay. Michael Noland, welcome. What impresses me about the song by Paul is the actual structure of the song. The female voice is coming in at key points. Keep it fresh sounding. The guitar intro and outro both work, in my humble opinion. Let me say a few things that, for some reason, unfortunately, I neglected to mention in the video. And Michael, maybe you know this as somebody who does videos, and anybody out there who makes videos, you think you got it all. I even take notes, right? And then sometimes I forget something. I did say the female voice. There were two voices in there, right? It's Chrissy Hind and Charlene Spiteri. Chrissy Hind of the Pretenders. I didn't recognize her voice at all. when I listened to it. And I also thought the voices were too layered, covered. And the biggest thing I should have said in the song that I didn't mention when I made the video was that Paul and Ringo's voices too are kind of like a little bit covered up. I kind of like the voices in songs most of the time to be more pronounced, a little more upfront. They kind of were a little slightly covered up, buried. Now, I mean, I'm guessing it was intentional. I mean, they're both in their mid 80s or thereabouts. So, I mean, I don't know, but that's just a minor criticism, But yeah, I mean, the guitar on there, the guitar is good. At the beginning, the jangly guitar is great at the opening. And I like the guitar, I assume, played by Paul later in the song. Hello, Nick. Did you know that the Rolling Stones album and the Paul McCartney are produced by the same person, Andrew Watt? Yes, I do. One of the things that I really liked and loved, never mind liked, loved about the Stones Hackney Diamonds album was the production. I thought Andrew Watt did a fantastic job on it. And when I heard that Andrew Watt was going to produce the McCartney album, I said, oh, fantastic. This is going to be great. So far, again, I haven't heard the proper album. I'm a stickler for that. You got to really hear it on a CD or a vinyl album on a real stereo system. You got to really like hear it, that way to really get a real good feeling for it. But so far, I haven't heard anything that would make me think the same guy who produced Hackney Diamonds is the same guy who produced these two songs that just dropped on Paul's album, you know. Hello, Marcus. Marcus says, yeah, I didn't care for this new song. My favorite part was the opening melodic line. The lyrics were not that good. They're Maca lyrics that sound like something Ringo would have written. Now, I got to tell you on that line, Marcus, again, the lyrics are fun. I'll probably mention this more than once. My favorite line in the song is Paul sings, the lady on the hill was drinking brandy, eating caviar, the perfect host. And then Ringo, with his fun personality, comes in and says, the mom was in the kitchen washing dishes in the sink, and then she burned the toast. That's funny. That's funny. That's cute. That's ha ha ha. It's Ringo, good old Ringo. Ringo comes in with the punchline. I love it. Not great songwriting, though. You know what I mean? I mean, these lyrics, they're serviceable. They serve the song, but there's nothing great about the lyrics in a profound way. I mean, I have fun with it. I have fun with it, but where is it about? Like, oh, geez, oh, I can't find it now. It was coming down. The world around us wasn't safe. The place was falling down. Okay, I know that that's how that suits the mood of their childhood with growing up. Not a great lyric or anything. And even the line about the roses in the yard wilted and turned to dust. It fits the mood and what happened. And yes, people are going to remind me, Joe, don't forget, it was bombed. It was bombed out. That's what. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying it's not exactly the most profound words. That's all. Do they have to? Now the next argument you get is, who says they have to be profound? Do you like I am the walrus? Goo goo goo. Yes, I do. So they don't have to be profound, but people are acting. People are carrying on as if this is extremely profound, is what I'm trying to say. And I just think that's a little bit much. Uh, Typical gushing about new tunes from some Beatle YouTubers, some walking on eggshells is not to upset anyone. I don't really know about that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. Some people I do in the Beatle community, some people do that. I'm not just talking about YouTubers. I'm talking about anybody and commenters. Even some people just don't want to upset anybody, so they tread carefully. That's Paul McCartney for one, but we're not here to start talking about Paul's character. But he doesn't want to upset. He treads lightly too. Um, but yeah, I think there's some of that going around too. What I think is, I think a lot of people are so excited because you got Paul, you got Ringo. They were Beatles. They're together again. The two. How great is this? It's fantastic, people. I'm a Beatles fan. To hear Paul and Ringo together on a song at this stage of their lives, maybe one of their last together, if not the last, the way to say maybe goodbye, everybody, or see you later, um, is it's wonderful. It's a wonderful sentiment. But just because of that alone, I don't think makes a great song. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a good song. I'm going to be saying that a lot. It's a good song. People think if you don't say something's great or if you criticize it, it means you don't like it or you hate it. I like it. It's a fun song. And I'll look forward to it in the context of the album. Whenever I play the album, I'm sure I'll love getting to this track. It's a good time track. Let's see. I hope the whole album isn't going to be a dreary reminiscence of the past. I don't think so, but who knows? The gushing was a bit too much for me, especially when certain people are saying that they got emotional just thinking about the lyrics. See, that kind of thing. The lyrics don't warrant that level of emotionality, in my opinion. Marcus says. I think it's a combination, though, in all fairness, of the idea that it's Paul and Ringo together again, coming together at this late stage, and both of them are here. We're glad to have them here, friends, icons, legends together, reminiscing about their boyhood days in Liverpool. That's emotional in itself. Forget the words. That's emotional, and them coming together and the happy-go-lucky, let's have a beer feeling of the whole thing, you know. But by the way, I want to say something about the line about mom was in the kitchen washing dishes in the sink and then she burned the toast. Do you know? Like I heard that song like 12:30 in the morning in the AM around when it debuted after midnight, and then the next morning I got up. My girlfriend burnt the toast, and let me tell you, in all the years I've been with my girlfriend, I never knew her to burn a piece of toast. Complete coincidence. She burned the toast. The whole house was smelling like toast. The first day, only like, I don't know, 7 hours after, 6 or 7 hours after the song premiered, here my whole house smelled like burnt toast. And I went out that day. I played the song. So far, for those interested, I played the song about 10 times. About 10 times, I'd say. And when I came home in the afternoon, the house still smelled like burnt toast. I mean, you can't make that up. I mean, that stuff, you can't plan it better than that. If there was one day in the history of the world where my girlfriend burned a piece of toast, left it in the toaster too long, that would be the day that this song, Home to Us, premiered. I just think that's funny. I did not hear the new Stone song yet. No. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I heard the new song. I guess you mean Home to Us, right? It sounds to me like a song for a TV show. It would fit. It would fit as a theme show for a television program, a theme song. Two new Paul. Don't the two new Paul songs sound like two songs from the album New? Queenie Eye and Early Days, I guess you mean. I didn't really think about it. I think Andy Nichols had told me when he heard the song first, he had told me that he felt that when he was describing the song Home to Us before I'd heard it, he said it sounded to him like new, the song New. And it does have a little feeling like that as it starts. I think that's a good description. I think when it first started, that's what I thought too. Well, this always happens. With subsequent listens, you'll like it more. I like it already. I like it already. I think it's good fun. Am I ever going to come to think it's one of the greatest songs? People are saying that. They're saying it's right up there with the best of the Beatles songs. It could be a Beatles song. It's great. It's like another Penny Lane, a Penny Lane for today. No, I don't think I'm ever going to feel that way, but I will come here and tell you, like I'm always honest. I'll say, you know what, guys? Forget what I said back there on May the 9th of 2026. I now think it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard from any of the Beatles. But I don't think that's going to happen. I've heard it about 10 times so far. That's a lot of times. I don't like the Rolling Stones cover art. I really don't like the cover. Yeah, it's an ugly cover, I think. But I don't have it in my hands, and I still want to see if it flaps over like the John Lennon Walls and Bridges cover. Okay, 4D Man says, I love the song, but I value your honest difference of opinion, and I wouldn't want to change your mind. I have nothing against anybody, wanting to change your mind. I mean, an opinion is an opinion, right? There's no right or wrong in an opinion. But sometimes I find, and I guess you too, 4D man, and other people, a lot of times, you want to like impress upon people. But this is how these are my feelings, and these are why I have these feelings. What do you think? You know, there's nothing wrong with explaining. Uh, It sounds like their voices were enhanced to have a smoother sound, which is fine. I still think the problem is their voices sound fine together. I think Paul sounds fine and Ringo sounds fine. As I've said, at first, when I heard it, it was hard to discern right away. But Ringo came in, right? I said, I know Paul sings a line, then Ringo sings a line, and Paul, and then Ringo. But we know that. But at first, if you didn't know, I do think it sounds similar. It sounds like their voices are blended together so much you could almost think it was one guy at first, at the beginning anyway, the first bit. Um, what can I say? That's what I think. And I do think their voices, to me, they sound a little, I'm using the word layered, but I'm going to use the word distant, slightly distant. I'd like it to be more present. I'd like their voices to be more present. And I think some of that was due to trying to disguise some flaws, but that's okay. I've said many times before, on stage, live on stage, it's hard to cover up stuff like that. And, problems, little frailties and miscues. But in the studio, you can play more trickery. There's more you can do in the studio. Okay, your opinions on the voice being a bit muffled is valid. My thoughts exactly, and I blame Andrew Watt. That seems to be his sound. But despite that, I can't resist this bit of ear candy. Well, that's the other thing you reminded me of. As I say, I love hearing it. It's a quick song. It's delightfully fast. I think it's a little over 3 minutes. Nice pop tune. But the thing is, I don't think it's a great melody. It's funny because my girlfriend, she thought it was, she thinks the same as me. We have a lot in common, my girlfriend and I, and she listened to it and she thought, it just goes da 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 da, or whatever it is. Da 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 da. It's not much of a melody. Come on. It doesn't mean that it's not appealing, doesn't mean it doesn't it's not catchy in a way. I'll be honest with you. It stayed in my head. It stays in my head. It's an earworm. It is an earworm, even if it's not the best melody. It's still, Paul knows how to write them, but he's done a lot better melodies than this. If you want to go by the melody, let's be honest. I mean, I don't. Again, I'm not naming names. I'm talking about not just people who are YouTubers or broadcasters or podcasters, but I'm talking about people in the comments, my comments and mine, and comments on other videos that I've read. And usual suspects is a tough term, but it's the usual people, the people that you would say, "Oh, I love it, I love it." They're going to say before you even hear it. They're going to say that they love it. Wait, I missed something here. I'm trying to find it. I missed somewhere I missed. Oh, there it is down there. Oh, that's Henry. Henry, listen. I don't know what to say, Henry. Henry, thanks for that. I appreciate it. But I know you're trying to buy your way back here, man. I feel bad because I had to let Henry go a couple of times, and he's buying himself back. All right, we'll see how it goes, Henry. How's that? Thank you, but you don't have to do that. Anybody else want to help out though? That's fine. Let's see. I'm sorry, I got to go back here. Okay. Yeah, we got that one. James Farley, hello. That's an interesting question. Do I prefer the Who or Pink Floyd? These days, I'm going to say the Who. There was a time when I might have said Pink Floyd. The new song sounds kind of like Flaming Pie. It's kind of da 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 da. I like Flaming Pie better than this at Home to Us. Hello, Day Tripper. I thought Eddie was over the moon about the new song. Just my opinion. By the way, the 2 new songs from the Stones get high marks for me. Again, just my opinion. Well, thank you for offering them. That's what I want. By the way, we talked about, or not yet, somebody mentioned this in one of my comments. Somebody said, it sounds like Ringo's done songs about Liverpool. It sounds like it could be on a Ringo album. Two Ringo songs about Liverpool that I think are better than this song are, first of all, Liverpool 8, the song, and also the song The Other Side of Liverpool. I think both of those songs are, they have better lyrics. They have even more emotion and sentimentality, for the old days, in a way. Even if Paul didn't write those two songs, and even if Paul doesn't sing on those two songs, I still think those two songs are better songs. You know what I mean? Those two songs, though, what they don't have the enjoyment of having two ex-Beatles in their senior years bonding together like old pals and having a good time together, having a good romp. That's, to me, and again, that brings us right back. It's why I think this song is so well loved by everybody, because of that. I think it's the novelty more than the unbelievable quality of the song. I think it's more than nothing wrong with liking a song because of the novelty of it. And again, I still do think it's a good song. I don't think it's a bad song. I don't dislike the song. I like it. Just don't love it. And I'm saying this for people who are late here. Maybe didn't hear me say that already. I've heard the final track, Mama Gets By, is very orchestral, like Good Night. I've heard that too. This is not a dig at Ringo, but it sounds like a song best suited for one of his albums. I love how you are 100% genuine. It's a nice song with our favorite singers, not groundbreaking or Penny Lane. That's how I feel about it. We agree. That's all. You and I. Some don't agree. And I don't mind hearing from more people. Speak up, people who love the song. I thought I was going to be coming here today. It was going to be a little bit of this going on. And it's mostly the people here are agreeing with me, I guess, because it's my channel. But you don't have to agree. Let's hear different opinions. The new song is good for what it is, well within Ringo and Paul's singing range now. The lyrics to Walrus, I Am the Walrus, are profound. They are timeless gobbledygook, but also genius, profound poetry. And Pirate Gamer, what's going on? I'm okay with the two songs released, but I hope the entire track listing works well to create a great album. Huh? A lot of people saying, judging by these first two songs, we're really now highly anticipating the new albums and thinking it's going to be pretty good. So, like I said, I'm wondering if it can live up to expectations, because now people are starting to really expect really a solid album here. Let's see. Okay, a little update from what I talked about in a Joe and Danny live stream. I got a ticket to see Michael. It's the Michael Jackson movie, Michael, Tuesday. Hopefully I'll enjoy it as much as you did. Well, please let us know what you thought. Is Macca getting credence on some tunes solely based on the fact he's still with us? I wouldn't go that far as to say that. Although in the comments, whenever somebody, not just for this song, but any kind of thing about Paul or Ringo, if anybody says anything off, criticizes even the slightest thing, and doesn't glow about something, people always will say, "Hey, just be thankful they're still here." And I always have to repeat when I type it out to say, I am absolutely 1000% grateful they're both here. Praise the Lord. However, that doesn't mean I have to think everything they say I agree with, or everything they touch is the best thing they ever did. That's all. Although I like a lot of it. I love the smell of burnt toast in the morning. Well, so do I. I just find it, but Michael, it's never been this intense. Isn't that perfect timing? A song that has a line in there about mom burning the toast, and then the next day my girlfriend burns the toast. It was like so perfect. Perfect. Oh, don't forget there were no toasters in the 40s. It was done on a grill. There you go. Yeah, mom was too busy washing dishes in the sink, And another line about playing ball till the sun came down. We did that too. I played ball till the sun came down. I loved it as a kid where I grew up. Not very unique or profound. We all did that. We went out in the street and played till the sun came down, playing ball and other things. Again, I'm not criticizing it, but just saying it's not the most incredible thing I've ever heard. The Lady on the Hill line. Seems to me we're referencing high society eating the caviar, being a good host while down the hill their own saying that sinking the whatever, saying dishes and burning the toast. Yeah, I think that's the idea. You right. You got the highbrow people live in high society, and then meanwhile the regular people just had dishes all in the sink, and the toast was getting burned. They didn't have that kind of lifestyle. Then later on, it was Paul and Ringo that were eating caviar while our toast burns. Think about it, right? Yeah. I'm hoping Paul has one more rock and roll banger left in him on the next album, voice permitting, I guess. I've heard that there's at least one rocker on the album, maybe if I remember correctly what I've heard, people who've heard it, or maybe more than one even. So I think we're going to be okay with that. Let's say hello to Penny Lane. Hello, Penny Lane. If Paul could write a whole song about burnt toast, someone would say it's another yesterday. There you go. Okay, hello, Richard. Richard says the Paul and the Ringo song was way better than the days we left behind. I appreciate your opinion. I prefer the days we left behind. I thought that was I don't know. I felt more emotional about that. Oh, thank you, Henry. Well, like I said, as long as things stay cool, I'm cool. Okay, every summer we could rent a cottage in the Isle of Wight, same meter and near monotone as home to us. From looking forward when I'm 64 to looking back when we were kids. Well said, 4D. Well said. I love the new song. It made me smile. Yes, indeed, Yelly Man. Yes, indeed. You know as well as I that we reminisce about our childhood as we get older. I've been doing that my entire life, not even as I get older. I mean, I think back to every day of my life. I've done that since when I was 20, I was thinking back to my teens, and then when I was 30, I was thinking back to my 20s, and so on. Yeah. Uh, let's see. In the context of the whole album, it might fit in nicely and make more sense. Well, this song makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me. Uh, I have to admit, it is a better song after two or three listens. Well, that tends to happen. Strangely, the new song reminds me of Women and Wives. Oh, I don't know. I think I like Women and Wives better as a song, actually. But yeah, I'm glad you brought this up, James, because I've been thinking this too, and everybody's thinking this. Everybody's hoping when Paul is on Saturday Night Live. We should mention he's going to be on Saturday Night Live a week from today. Okay, the 16th. He's going to be on Saturday Night Live, and we're hoping that he's going to perform a home to us with Ringo. We're hoping that Ringo is going to be present as well, a surprise of sorts. It would be nice. Here we go. Macca is getting praised because he's a beloved genius. Well, that's part of it. But the way I read that is because it's McCartney. So you got to love it, right? There's a lot of people out there. It's McCartney. He's a genius. We're going to love it. We're not going to criticize it. We're not going to say he's done better. He's written better. He's written worse. We're not going to say that. And there are people like that. And it's a shame. I think, because I think there are some, big McCartney fans out there that won't watch my channel because they don't want to hear ever any criticism. Look, I'm not about fake. I'm not about phony. I'm not about just saying what people want to hear. If that's all people want, then this isn't the place for you. Although you'll be damn happy when I praise Paul. When I say that I love this or that about Paul or something he's done, I mean it. It's from here, not just make it sound good. Not to step on toes or anything. Yeah, I was accused of not being a Beatles fan in one of the Fab Four Free for All Facebook posts just because I didn't care for this song. There you go. There you go. I mean, and let's be fair. I may emotionally in my life, I've done that too. Not often. It's not usually my MO. but I'm not going to say I've never done it. Like, it's hard for me to understand sometimes. Like I do say, I tend to say that if people just aren't really keen on listening to Ringo stuff, they're not that big of fans. So to some people, the Beatles are John, Paul, and George. Really, Ringo just sat in on the drums and just got lucky. These are even big Beatle fans that feel that. And I don't agree. That's all there is to it. Okay, I'll put this up here. Okay. Thank you for that update. Something you brought up is so true, and that's people that say it's great after hearing 30 seconds of Paul's new song. But I exaggerate a bit. You know what I mean. Well, wait a minute. Let's be fair. There's also people who say it sucks after only hearing 30 seconds, too. Right? So this is how I'm fair. I'm not it goes both ways. Let's be fair. You know. Remember to hit the like. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's good. That's a good reminder. McCartney was middle class. Ringo was working class. Both of us here in America didn't grow up in ruins, but we did grow up in urban development areas. I think that's why home to us hits hard even here in America. Well, yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, I know the history. I know the history of the Beatles and where they grew up and everything. It suddenly dawned on me, Michael, that if you had no knowledge of the Beatles, if you just heard this song with the words and you didn't know anything about who these guys really were or how they grew up and when and where, under what conditions, would it register in the song? Now that I think of it, it might not have that much. I mean, you can read between the lines a little bit. Um, well, when they say the world around us wasn't safe, the place was falling down. There you go. But then, I mean, I don't think anybody would jump the gun to thinking it was about bombings and things like that. I mean, you could say, the world is not safe really any time, really. And depending where you live or what kind of, if you live in a bad area, you're poor or grow up poor anywhere, any place, maybe things are like falling down. I'm nitpicking here. I'm just wondering if people would get it with this song on its own, lyrically, not talking about catchy wise or snappy wise. I'm talking about lyrically. Would it be as effective if you didn't know their history lyrically? I wonder. Well, I see Yelly Man is battling with Terry. I'm not gonna let that happen for too long in here. Here we go. But I gotta say one thing here. Uh, when was the last time? This is like a personal argument, but when was the last time he released a terrible song? I mean, he how about Gratitude from Memory Almost Full? I can't think of all of them now. I have criticized some of his newer songs. I wasn't too wild about the first time, but as a Paul fan, I concentrate about the good. Interesting words. As a Paul fan, I only concentrate. Well, you didn't say only, but I concentrate on the good. This is the thing, I guess that's why I'm, as much as I love all four Beatles, I'm more of a John guy, because life sometimes can be happy, life sometimes can be sad, life can be joyful, life can be bad. Hey, look at that. I'm writing my own lyric here. It's not always happy and everything's thumbs up all the time. Yeah, a lot of times it's good to accentuate the positive. You gotta accentuate the positive. I try to do that a lot, but at times I say if I don't like something or if I'm not happy, I just that's the thing that gets me. Concentrate on the good. Why? I mean, it's 50-50. If Paul does an album, say, I don't know what album, Yelly Man, but if he does an album and you like half of it and half you don't like, say you don't like half of it and say you love the other half. But people aren't interested in knowing you because of that. Who needs them? Bouncy and pleasant, but pretty ordinary. Well, we agree on that. I prefer the new Rolling Stones song, and even that's just sort of generic Stones sounding, a fun energy to sit through. Though I haven't heard the new Stones song, but boy, to hear that it's generic Stone sounding, that's so typical of them. I mean, this has been going on for decades now. I mean, I like a lot of the stuff later on in the Stones, but it all sounds like kind of generic Stones. But I love the last album, Hackney Diamonds. I really did. I think Ebony and Ivory's a fine song myself. I know Ebony and Ivory gets a lot of disdain these days, but I think it's quite a good song. And I also love Spies Like Us. I think Spies Like Us is an underrated song. This is the first time since Wings that there was a female backup singer. There are two on it: Chrissy Hind and Charlene Spiteri. Yes, Dylan has done Saturday Night Live. I know that. I know he was on 1979. He did "Got to Serve Somebody." He sang on there. Uh, I remember you cried when you saw the. Yeah, it was emotionally moving, absolutely, and I'm not ashamed of it. I didn't burst into bawling, wailing tears, but a tear went down. Yeah, I thought that was very emotional. I did, and I'm proud to say it. Okay. McCartney was middle class until his mother died and they lost her income and home. From that point on, he wasn't much better off than Ringo. Will this new song chart? I don't know. I don't know how the charts work anymore. Singles, single, what is it? But I'll tell you this much: I think that if Paul is on Saturday Night Live and does this song with Ringo, I really think a lot of people are going to like it. I think a lot of people are going to want to buy the album. I think it could help sell the new album. Paul looks a lot like his dad now. Maybe 90 here today. Give us some of that. Give us some of that 90. It's 57 degrees here, for God's sake. I love summer. Yeah, thank you for this, Yelly man. He says, I don't get upset or angry with you, Mayo, when you speak your mind on Paul. Sometimes I even think you're too kind to Paul. Exactly. Especially when you say nice things about albums like Wildlife. I got a lot of nice things to say about Wildlife. I think it's underrated, and I love that he did something different and primitive and kind of quick. Um, but I've said this before, and this is what it is. I get criticized from some people for being too nice with Paul and the other Beatles, and then sometimes, I get criticized the other way for being too critical of Paul and some of the other Beatles and all the other Beatles. So, you can't win. So I grew up in a poor family and played in torn down theaters and such, and usually live in areas where road upkeep was horrible. So yeah, the song hits on a personal level for me anyway. And you know what? We burnt toast occasionally in my house, and we had dishes in the sink. So I guess I relate too. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, and I also played ball outside until the sun came down. So I guess we can all relate. Nothing that unique, at least in those 2 points. Um, Thoughts about John's "I Don't Want to Be a Soldier," my least favorite from Imagine. Sounds like the live jams from All Things Must Pass. When I first heard the album Imagine, I didn't like I Don't Want to Be a Soldier. That's a song talk about listening to things a lot of times and something growing on you. Now I enjoy the song I Don't Want to Be a Soldier. I'm listening to all the stuff that's going on in the background, King Curtis on the sax and all the other special effects and I think it's phenomenal, all the things that are going on in the back while John's singing those lines. I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that, I don't want to die, I don't want to be a lawyer, I don't want to lie. I really like the song now, but it wasn't always thus. Pleasant surprise to see a review of Michael. Yeah, thank you. Yep. Hello, James. Evening to you. Okay, let's see. The backing harmonies on "In the Stars" is unusual for the Stones. I think it made the song better. I'll let you know when I hear it one day. A few people have said that Paul was putting Liverpool down in Home to Us, but people not in the UK won't have a concept of how damaged London and Liverpool were during the war. Unfortunately, when I made my video, it was like 1 a.m. in the morning. I had fallen asleep, then woke up to hear the song, and then made the video. But I think I was a little too harsh in that regard there. I said they were kind of, yeah, I said, first they, the lyrics, some of the lyrics, they're like trashing Liverpool, but I understand people had to tell me, which they thought they were teaching me, even though I already damn well knew what they're saying. They're talking about the conditions of Liverpool at the time. But I couldn't help thinking about Ringo. There was a story where Ringo had his album out in 2008, I believe, called Liverpool 8. And he sang this great song about Liverpool and moving on and all that later on and becoming big and famous. And then he was on an interview show and somebody asked him, and I'm paraphrasing here, would you ever go back to Liverpool? You would miss Liverpool or something. He goes, nah, or something like that. And Liverpool had a fit. And all these people were really against Ringo. As a matter of fact, there were some hedges of the Beatles, some famous hedges or something that were shaped in the format of the Beatles, and somebody chopped Ringo's head off the hedges. So I'm just saying, I was just trying to say, like, you hear things, it's just negative, kind of grim stuff in here, but it's juxtaposed by the happy-go-lucky, bouncy nature of the song that makes it kind of like Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Is that am I the first one there? Is that a hot take these days? When you think about it, the same way Maxwell's Silver Hammer is about a kind of a grim thing, but it's done in a la 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 la, happy, upbeat, kind of fun way. It kind of offsets it. That's how I think of this song, Home to Us. Okay. I'm glad you said this, Doc. You can still access the Billboard Top 200 from the website, but you likely won't understand the chart. Does anybody know what Ringo's new album was, where it placed on I'm talking about the Billboard 200, not the country charts, not the album charts, adult contemporary, the Billboard 200. What did it do on there? I honestly think Michael Jackson's the only artist on par with the Beatles in terms of popularity. Both are known by literally everyone. Everyone knows at least one song. Are you kidding? Did you hear about a little guy named Elvis? Come on. Elvis is known by his first name, Elvis Presley. I know you're not a big Elvis fan. Hello, Jeff. Jeff says, I love Home to Us. Very catchy. Totally agree about Spies Like Us. I love that song. Every time I defend it, the thing I mainly say is it rocks. Say what you want about it. That's another one that doesn't have the greatest lyrics, but it rocks, man. It's heavy. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yep. Oh, that's a good point. Get Enough. There you go. That was an awful song. I agree. Yeah, that's from 2018 or thereabouts. Any more cinema visits coming up? Oh, wow. I don't know. Offhand, I can't think of any. There's a lot of movies that are playing in the cinema that I just saw the Michael Jackson one. Excuse me. But in the revival theater that I go to, there's a lot of old movies that are going to be in there, but the timing isn't always right. My girlfriend and I want to go together, and sometimes she's got to work. It's crazy that 23 and 2026 and Paul McCartney, Mick and Keith are releasing new material. Mind blowing to think about it. Yeah, I often think about that. There are a lot of young Beatle fans out there, and they're very lucky. They got to enjoy Now and Then when it came out. That was a big hoopla. Some people say, "Oh, I got to actually be alive and be privileged to hear a new Beatles song." A lot of people listening to me are going to say, "Now and Then is not a Beatles song." I say it is because they say it is. They make the call, not me, not anybody else. But anyway, so they have that, and they also got to enjoy, Paul in concert and Ringo in concert and Paul albums and Ringo albums on Saturday Night Live. So even if you're a younger fan who wasn't around in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, some of the 2000s or whatever, you still got to experience a lot of this new stuff first. And I think that's pretty cool. I didn't like the new Stones songs. I loved Hackney Diamonds and the single Angry. Yeah, Paul does play on the new album. Yes. Liverpool 8 is rough, 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 even today. Didn't like I Don't Want to Be a Soldier when I bought Imagine back in 77 or whatever. That's about the time I'm at that I also first bought it. I bought it also around 77. I didn't like it either then. I like it okay, but still the albums, the songs more. Yeah, that would be maybe that would be my least favorite song on the album, but I still enjoy it. I agree that Wings of Wildlife is an underrated album. Very nice, especially when you consider that it was purposely recorded and mixed in a heartbeat. He was inspired by Dylan doing the very same thing. Yes, indeed, he do. Yes, indeed, he do. I also enjoyed The Hunt for the Lost Bass, but needed the captions turned on. Yeah, some people said that maybe I didn't love it because I didn't like the British, too British, they thought. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't understand a lot of the dialect, the British dialect in that particular show. However, that had nothing to do with it. There's lots of other British stuff that I love. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's British or too British, you know. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Ringo got in trouble for the comment he made about Liverpool. Yes. I saw the clip of the new Michael movie online. Crazy how accurately they recreated his iconic Billie Jean performance from '83. Yeah, they did a good job with that. I wasn't pointing the finger at you, Joe, but I've heard several people say this. Yes, I know how that goes. I fall into that too. A lot of times I got to tell people, I'm not talking about you or you or you personally, you know. Okay. I was a sailor first. I sailed the sea. Then I got a job in a factory. Played Butlin's Camp with my friend Rory. It was good for him. It was great for me. Anyway, that alone has that line is, as basic as it may sound, the structure of it says a lot more of the story than Home to Us does. Uh, Sorry About Spies Like Us is still one of my very least favorite Paul songs, and I've heard it lots of times. Lots of times doesn't always mean you're going to appreciate anything, believe me, and that's okay. I understand. Spies Like Us. I'm very much aware of, and I accept when I like a song that most people hate. I'm kind of like the odd guy out, or when I dislike a song like that everybody really loves a lot. And again, for people just joining me, this song "Home to Us," I like it. I get it. It's a wonderful joint duet between two old Beatles. Love that. But the song itself, it's not a great song. That's all. Ringo is not very popular in Liverpool. I doubt he will ever win them back. Yeah, I hate that song, Mac the Knife. I got to be honest with you. Even though I love Bobby Darin to a point, and I love old music, and I love 50s music and 60s and stuff, I don't like Mac the Knife. Oh, it's like lounge singing. I can't stand that song. Sorry. Man. 104 today. That's in Arizona, right? Anyway, Joe, something I've always wanted to ask you. At 70, I still sometimes think about John and tears start to roll because I miss him so much. You still think about him a lot? I do. I think about John Lennon almost every day, a little bit. Why? Because I'm very big on the Beatles and I do this channel about Beatles. So naturally, John's on my mind quite a bit. I don't cry anymore. Uh, you know, I love how some ABBA tunes are dark, emotional, sinister, physical. I've softened on Elvis. I love Burning Love, especially the orchestra version. I hope you should have seen the movie Epic. There it is. Epic is still epic. Wildlife, the songs are fair enough, but I don't like the production. To me, it just sounds unfinished. Tomorrow and Dear Friend are great, though. Well, the thing I say is, it does sound unfinished. It does sound raw. It does sound not complete. It sound, but the thing I love about it is Paul always has songs that sound finished. Paul always has high production, or a lot of times, right? He's always a perfectionist for the most part. Isn't it nice once or twice to have something a little off that's different? That's why I like it, because it's different, more primitive. Mayo, what do you think was the last great McCartney song to be released? My pick would be "I Don't Know." "I Don't Know" is a very good Paul song. I got you got me there. I got to think for a while. That's one of them. I'll go with that. Wow, the last great McCartney song. Mm. I'm trying to think if there's anything off McCartney 3 that I would think is a great McCartney song. I don't know. I think Early Days is one of them. Early Days from New, I think is one of the last is a great McCartney song. I think that The End of the End from Memory Almost Full, or House of Wax from Memory Almost Full. I think Jenny Wren from Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Um, Still trying to think here. Do you think Lennon would have liked what Paul and Ringo did with Now and Then? Well, we don't know, but I think John's up there smiling. I think he didn't do anything with that song. The crude piano demo that he did, he never finished that song. He never went back to that song. And I think he would appreciate what they did with it. I think he did a fine job with it. And I know a lot of people don't like that they left out one of John's lines in there. I don't want to use you or abuse you or something like that. But that's not what the song wound up turning into. It was just a rough, incomplete demo. And they made something out of it. I know, they made something out of it that was good, but it wasn't about that. It wasn't about what John was plunking away at his piano. And a lot of people, a lot of fans, and rightly so in some way, I guess, would say, well, that wasn't what John intended. It's funny how that is. I mean, I go back and forth all the time. There are times you'll ask me about something and I'll say, well, that's not right because so and so didn't intend that way. That's not fair. They wouldn't have okayed that. And other times I say, if I like it, oh, yeah, I think they would have liked it. You know, oh, absolutely. Yeah. You want to pay me a compliment? You want to pay me a compliment? Anybody listening to this, especially if you're a younger person, just say, okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Or, yeah, right, boomer. Hey, boomer. Because you think that's an insult. And it makes me feel so good. I get goosebumps of giddy joy every time I'm referred to as a boomer. I'm so proud of it. And happy. I feel lucky every day in my life about it. I know it's early, but Godzilla Minus Zero is due in November. The next Godzilla movie. Yes, indeed. I wonder why Paul doesn't ask Ringo to play drums on his albums, but can, excuse me, get him to sing on a new song. I don't know. When was the last time Ringo played drums on a Paul album? Now you got me wondering. Beautiful Night. He played drums on that, didn't he? Angry was fantastic. I like that song, Rolling Stones. They genuinely made a song that sounded exactly like a song that would have released in 1980. Could have been a B-side to Start Me Up. Uh, Godzilla Minus One. Yeah, I get those titles mixed up. Godzilla Minus One, Godzilla Minus Zero, whatever the new one is. Yeah, the last Godzilla movie, Minus One, was one of the greatest of all Godzilla movies. Even if you don't love Godzilla, see this one. I know you won't, but anybody out there, you don't have to love Godzilla. Love that movie. That was well done. 14-year-old me got to witness a Beatles number 2 with Free as a Bird. 42-year-old me got to witness number 1 with Now and Then. There you go. Hackney Diamonds still makes it to my turntable, a sign of a great album. It is a great album. It makes it to my CD player every now and then. This exactly a common thing with the internet, having to clarify your points. There's a meme on Twitter. Someone said, "You could say I love pancakes," and someone replies, "Oh, so you hate waffles?" That's how it is. With Prince, I respected Prince. I think Prince was a good musician. I found out a good songwriter, good singer. Yeah, he was pretty good. I wasn't a big Prince guy, but I did like his most popular songs. Hackney Diamonds is a really great album. I loved every track. I'm with you on Mac the Knife. I've never liked it. Oh, there you go. I like Beyond the Sea better. That's funny. I like Beyond the Sea better than I do Mac the Knife. Yeah. ABBA have a lot of bangers, etc., etc. What's a typical 24-hour day for Joe Mayo? Usually get up, check the internet. If I have to edit a video like today, this morning, I edited a Mikey Arugula video. That should be up tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll put up the new Mikey Arugula video. There's a lot of fun in that one. So I get up, maybe get on the computer, maybe edit something, check the comments, do all that kind of stuff, play around the computer. And then it's time eventually to take my girlfriend to work. Usually most days I drive her to work. Then after I drop her off at work, I take a walk. Some days I don't, but most days I'm trying to get into the walking. So I do a walk. Then I come home and I have breakfast or lunch. I might call it brunch. It's like about 11:30 by then. It's 11:30. Sometimes I go to my record store. Sometimes I, excuse me, pop a movie on. Just bum around and then pick her up and then have dinner. I pick her up, have dinner with her at home. Sometimes we go out, but usually at home. And then we watch television all night till we fall asleep. That's a typical day. There's other things too, depending on the day. Songs on Wildlife are second rate compared to Ram. That may be true, generally speaking, but the song Tomorrow is a great song, and Dear Friend is a great song, I think. Do you think two Beatles still alive and making music keeps those YouTubers' content fresh? Once they're gone, and the stream chats might end up stagnant and hitting a brick wall. A lot of people ask me that, and sometimes I wonder. Um, I'll say one thing as a content creator of a Beatles channel, whenever there's new product by Paul or Ringo or something like that, it really like gets like now we're talking about the new song. Uh, we're excited about Ringo's album that came out, Long Long Road, and now we're excited about the Boys of Dungeon Lane. We have anticipation. It makes a good talk. What's going to happen when they're both gone? I think there's always going to be Beatles product and solo Beatle product. I think we're always going to have stuff to talk about, but there will be something missing. I think something lacking. It remains to be seen. I could think of at least two songs that would compare quite favorably with any of Ram's songs on uh, Wings Wildlife. Oh yeah, Wildlife. True, the title track Wildlife. I said Tomorrow and Dear Friend, but Wildlife as well. Hi there, Nick. Very good to see you here. You know, I hope you'll make more appearances. I know we don't always see eye to eye, but there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I can't believe I've actually heard somebody say they don't like Mac the Knife. That's me. Hold the presses, Lois, and find me a phone booth immediately. Yeah. My last great McCartney song was, and I'm going back, Mull of Kintyre. Yeah, that's going way back. Because I think there's been a lot of great McCartney songs since then, personally. Fine Line was probably the last great McCartney single for me. And I also love Come On to Me. I love Come On to Me also. I love that song. On Days We Left Behind, it's too early to tell, but Days We Left Behind has potential. I like Days We Left Behind to the point where that might be in consideration one day for one of his better songs. Yeah, but singles, as you say, singles don't really exist as they did. The best generation, as far as I'm concerned, is the silent generation. I'm late to this party, but I saw your video where you said you didn't think the new single is not great. What? Surely you have changed your mind now. Nick, the thing with you, I think I met you only once, right? And the thing is, I thought you were a great guy, by the way. I'm not just blowing smoke. I thought you were a great guy. I only met you once, I think, at the fest. I don't know you enough to know when you're pulling my chain and when you're having fun and when you're serious. But I did a lot of talk on this because you missed the first hour of the chat. No, I think I've said basically, I think the new song is a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable, uplifting, all the things we want from Paul and Ringo together. But as a piece of work, I just think it's good. It's not great, and that's it, pretty much. So I don't know if you're just like kidding me because you were making comments the other day under the video about what kind of fan are you? You're not getting all of these colored vinyl anymore, and that kind of thing. Nights when we sang like a heavenly choir. The line in Mulligan Tire is emotional. It sure is. Beautiful Night is a banger. I doubt we'll get it live now. Don't get me wrong. Oh, sorry. That's talking. Are you sure you don't like Paul's new song? I think it's fab. Which song are we talking about? Well, Paul's new song, The Days We Left Behind, I really like that song. This one here, it's technically a Paul song because he wrote it and it's on the album, but I want to stress this. This, folks, this is a good time to stress it. If we're talking about Home to Us, this is not a Paul McCartney song as it's recorded. It's as written, it's by Paul. This is a duet. Just like when you had Barbra Streisand and you had Donna Summer and they did a song together, No More Tears, Enough is Enough, I think. That was the two of them, Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer. Just like you had Frank Sinatra and Nancy Sinatra doing the song Something Stupid, right? And that song's Frank and Nancy Sinatra. It's not Frank Sinatra and period, So I very much feel like this new song, Home to Us, is a joint effort. And the fact that Paul wrote it isn't really so much. I don't know who wrote No More Tears, Enough is Enough with Streisand and Summer, but I know it was. I don't know if it was one of them. Maybe Streisand wrote. Maybe both of them wrote it. Geez, now I don't know. Or who wrote Something Stupid? But you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to give credit to both of them. You're a big historical epic guy. It depends on the movie, actually. You might like Chris Nolan's The Odyssey coming out this summer. Also, a new Spielberg sci-fi film and a new Ridley Scott sci-fi film. Okay. Yeah, Ringo plays the drums on here. And by the way, Ringo's drumming is terrific. It's a little loud and heavy at times, but it's good. Are you going to a McCartney listening party? You might go to the one a couple miles from your house. It depends. I think I'm going to go. And if I'm going, it'll be mostly to mingle. Hopefully I'll be able to meet some friends there and stuff. I recently gave Elton John's Madman Across the Water a play. That's a fantastic album. What is your idea of a holiday? I'm on holiday, just not working. My idea of a holiday is not having to work, I guess. Interestingly enough, Joe, I think you and I are on the same wavelength today. Jenny Wren rocks, and so does House of Wax. Hey, right. House of Wax is one of Paul's very best piano-based ballads, and his vocal. Listen to some of the heights he reaches vocally. Anybody out there, if you love Paul and you've never heard the song House of Wax, please listen to it. And listen to it. It's intense. It's an intense song. That's a good word I could use for it. I love Paul's vocals on it. Oh, I didn't know this. Billy Joel turned 77 today. I'm a Billy Joel guy. I like Billy Joel. The music. Personality, I don't know. But all right. To me, the melody reminds me of, I never thought of that. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. I'm still holding on to hope that you or Michael Nolan do a dedicated video on a solo Beatles album from someone not named Paul McCartney. I guess one can dream. Okay. I know Michael Nolan's a big John fan. I know that. I like Once Upon a Long Ago. I love that song. Good thing about the new single compared to the first single that Home to Us is different. That shows variation, which is good. Oh well, from Paul McCartney, I don't expect anything less than variety and versatility. You know, what other countries have you been to outside of the U.S.? I was in Arizona once, and I went over the Mexican border for a while just to check it out. And came back. I don't think I'm trying to remember if I've been anywhere else. I don't think so. Ram was slammed by the critics at the time and put down for many years. I loved it from day one, or from the day I bought it, excuse me, in 71. Uh, I remember loving Uncle Albert. When Ram came out, I was 9 years old. I only know the single. I loved Uncle Albert, I'll tell you that. Yes, and House of Wax at the Amoeba gig also is outstanding. Absolutely. It's a live version I like. Usually I don't really rate live versions of studio songs, but that one is good. Okay, Nick says, yes, we connected at the New York Fest. I'm mostly not serious. I'm pulling your leg. Okay. However, I think you will warm up to the duet song. Signs are this is going to be a wonderful new album. I agree. So far, the signs are that it's going to be very good. But as far as warming up to the duet, here's what I'm trying to register to not only you, Nick, but everybody else. I like the new song. I'm warmed up to it. I just don't think it's great. I like it. I don't dislike it, and I certainly don't hate it. I agree on House of Wax. Paul used to play it live back in the day, and it sounded great. It may be a song Paul could still sing. Oh, I don't, that's a high register. I love Sinatra's music. The personality, not so much. I'm a boomer and damn proud. I've got so many stories to tell about the Beatles as I grew up in the 60s. I still remember at grandparents' house on February 9th, 64. That's the Ed Sullivan Show, folks, and so much more. The Stranger, Billy Joel, of course, is a fantastic album. Barely any skips. Okay. Okay. I love House of Wax. Never liked Jenny Wren. Oh, that's interesting. Why didn't Michael Jackson pay Vincent Price for Thriller, or is that the record producer? I didn't know that Vincent Price didn't get paid, and I don't know whose decision that was. I never let an artist's personality get in the way of me enjoying their music. I try not to do the same. You know what I mean? Not to not. I agree with you. Is what I'm saying. I often don't agree with what I've heard of Billy Joel. Yeah, he hasn't been nice to people. Sometimes I hear stories, but he's one of our finest singers songwriters of all time. We agree on that too. I think so too. I don't know what people are down on. The guy, he has great songs and he's a great singer and performer, songwriter. I don't understand. Um, you know, so and I try to do the same thing with movies, movie actors or movie directors. I try not to let, if I don't agree on everything, influence if I go to their movies or if I listen to a music artist's music. House of Wax really got my attention on first listen. Sure. Uh, I've noticed that a lot of young people love Sinatra. His music seems to have aged well, unlike others. Yeah, sometimes at my record store, I see young people interested in Sinatra. I think This Never Happened Before is a gem. That's a good song. Friends to Go is good. Yeah. I don't know if I'd say, I don't think either one of them is a gem. I think I like Too Much Rain. I think Too Much Rain is close to being a gem off Chaos and Creation. Did you know that Martin Scorsese directed the music video of Michael Jackson's Bad? I do now, Henry. I didn't know then. Do Americans still wonder who the hell are the people on the Band on the Run album cover? Well, Christopher Lee, I know because I love him in horror movies and stuff. Not just horror movies, but anything really. And I don't know everybody on there. I got to look it up again. Do I like the song Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr.? Well, when that song came out, I was a child. I mean, I think I was like, I don't know if I was like 8, 9, or 10 when that came out. So it's a perfect, your young age. I don't love it, but it's all right. I like Sammy Davis Jr. I think Sammy Davis Jr. I could hear him sing almost anything. I think I like him. All right. What's the best song, Beatles or solo, that Paul ever wrote? I'd pick Hey Jude or For No One. You would think every time this question comes up, you would think that with a catalog as huge as Paul McCartney's, that it would be impossible for me to come up. I think the best songs he ever wrote were Let It Be, Maybe I'm Amazed. I go with For No One. That's up there. Hey Jude. Um, Eleanor Rigby. The biggies, the really biggies for Paul. But I definitely think Maybe I'm Amazed is up there. I love the Weird Al Yankovic's version of Michael Jackson's Bad album. Yep, I know what you mean. Even worse. Yeah. When I looked up Sinatra, I didn't realize Nancy Sinatra was that old. She'll be 86 in June. She'll be 86 before Ringo turns 86. Ringo will be 86 in July. Billy Joel's Little Heard first album, Cold Spring Harbor, is great all the way through. Why Judy Why sounds like a homage to Yesterday. Oh, Yesterday is also another great Paul song. And Here, There, and Everywhere also, you know. But to put it to one song by Paul, a lot of times if I have to pick just one song, what's one Paul's best song he ever wrote? I might have to go with Let It Be. I don't know. But either that or maybe I'm amazed. Are you kidding? Too cheesy for me. I absolutely love Peter Noon and Herman's Hermits. Love them. Absolutely love them. I adore Herman's Hermits. I went to see Peter Noon a couple of years ago, and he was great as usual. And I got to meet him. We went backstage, and he came out after the show at midnight or later to come out and pose for me a picture with me and sign an autograph. Great guy too. Let It Be is the most popular Paul song on Spotify. But other songs that I always bring up that people don't know or forget about are songs like Some Days by Paul from Flaming Pie and Little Willow and Calico Skies. Those are three contenders for Paul's greatest songs. Other amazing writing from Paul, Here, There, and Everywhere. Live and Let Die. We all stand together and for you. I know you're kidding there. I get it. I get it with those last two. Put It There. Put It There is a good song. The Ballad of John and Yoko is the most underrated Beatles song. I can listen to it. It's so good. I never think of it being as underrated because people like it. Most underrated Beatles songs include, for me, my number one most underrated over and unliked Beatles song. That's great. When I Get Home. When I Get Home is a great little pop song with John belting out the vocal, really rocking vocal from John. I love the guitar and the drums in it. I really like that a lot. Also, the most underrated Beatles song is, you ready for this? You Like Me Too Much by George. Same question for George. What's the greatest song he ever wrote? Oh, well, Here Comes the Sun. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Something. What am I forgetting? The biggie. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Something, Here Comes the Sun. Wow. There's other ones too, but I'm trying to think. Those are the top ones. Something could be the greatest song George ever wrote, even though maybe not my personal favorite. I actually like that song, Loop. I do. I love the song The Night Before. Could be my favorite song from the Help soundtrack these days, maybe. But I don't think it's one of Paul's best songs. I do enjoy John Lennon's cover of Stand By Me. Really like that a lot. Yes. I do like the song, this one also, Flowers in the Dirt. I like No More Lonely Nights. And My Love is a very good song that our buddy here is going to say bah any minute now, too. One of my very favorite songs is John's songs, is "Woman." I think that is as good as anything he wrote for the Beatles. I do too. I wasn't always when it came out. I wasn't a huge fan of "Woman." The songs that grabbed me right away was "Watching the Wheels" back in 1980 when I was only 18 years old. You know, but I think "Woman," "Beautiful Boy," and "Watching the Wheels" are classic John songs now. Yeah, we talked about this. Dizzy Miss Lizzy being underrated. I think it's underrated too. John Lennon rocks. I mean, he's screaming his lungs out, just like he does with Money, like he does with Bad Boy, like he does with Slow Down, so on. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you like me too much isn't one of the greatest songs, but I think it's underrated personally. I think it's better than people think. Okay, hey, Beatley Tone. Too bad you can't come up, man. I miss you. It'd be nice to discuss the song. Having a good time here. For no one, it is an amazing song. It is. Yeah, it's funny. I don't love listening to Mother like I used to. I think Mother is a classic and a great song for all its emotion, all the pent up pain. And it's a great performed song too. However, it's not a favorite anymore. Yeah. I've never been a big fan of the song "My Brave Face." Again, I don't dislike it. I don't hate it, but it's not a favorite. Run of the Mill, best George song. There you go. There's one for you. With George also, I think "Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth" is one of my favorite solo George songs. "My Sweet Lord" also. I love "My Sweet Lord." Peter Noon also at the end of a show autographed my Kinda Hush LP. Great guy. Blue Jay Way. Oh, not in my world. For some reason, I never get tired of "Here Comes the Sun." It's just a perfect song. Well, as we know, "Here Comes the Sun" is the most streamed Beatles song, and it's kind of baffling to people. If you love Lennon and McCartney, that's kind of baffling, but it is a great song, and I can understand how accessible it is and why a lot of people love it. I love "When I Get Home," fun rocker, I laugh at the "Till the Cows Come Home" line. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the song simply because of that line. "I'm going to love her till the cows come home." That's an old expression. Maybe people don't. It's a funny expression. Probably was silly when they first started saying it, even, but it's still, it's not something John made up. That line. Uh, and Eleanor Rigby, just a string quartet, no Beatles playing instruments. Best Beatle guitar solo is "Let It Be." I hope you're talking about the album version. And there it is. Chip, aka Matthew Smith, says "bah" as far as "My Love." He doesn't like "My Love." That's a little joke we have going. Mind Games, just like starting over. Okay, what once in a lifetime talent. We lost him way too soon. You're telling me. Yeah. I was 18 when he was murdered, and just turned 64, so it's been a while. You know what's funny? Interesting. I turned that off today. Believe it or not. I listened to an oldies radio station, and they played just like starting over a lot. And when I'm driving my girlfriend to work, we have the station on. And just today, I heard ding, 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 Our Life. I said, no, I just turned it down. I wasn't in the mood actually today. That's all. Last time it was on just 3 days ago. We heard it, and I had it on. I blasted it. I don't know. I just didn't want to hear it again today. Don't ask me why. George Harrison's "Got My Mind Set on You." I enjoy the song. It gets to be a little bit repetitious a little bit repetitious. I do like it. I respect it because it's the last number one song by any of the solo Beatles, and that hit number one in early 1988. Came out in 87, but it hit number one in early 88. So it's been a long time since any of the Beatles had a number one record, like a single like that. Um, I don't, it's good, but it's not my favorite track on that album at all. I like a lot of songs better on the album Cloud Nine. Beatley Tone made a good point. These guys were in their 20s writing these tunes. Geez, they were kids writing life changing stuff. What about When I'm 64? Paul writing When I'm 64 when he was like a teenager or something. Oh yeah, What Is Life is a classic. It's a great one, George. Yep, no doubt about that. Yeah, Sinatra said that Something was his favorite Lennon and McCartney song. Yeah, I love Wah Wah. I do. I do. I do. I do. Here Comes the Sun has been my second favorite Beatles song after Penny Lane. Plastic Ono Band, despite its raw grittiness, is an album I always listen to around Christmas for some reason. Maybe because it came out around December, I think. Yeah, I could understand that. And as much as I think that John's Plastic Ono Band debut proper solo album is a masterpiece, and it's a classic. Okay, I can't listen to it all the time anymore because it's so down. It's such a downer. However, I just recently, during one of my long drives, I did play it for the first time in a couple of years, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's a real powerful album. Still, I love that line about the cows come home. And all settle an argument. The cartoon "Wait Till Your Father Gets Home" wasn't for kids. I don't really. I know of the show, but I never watched it. I remember the song. The song "Wait Till Your Father Gets Home." A lot of Beatles songs have fatigue factor, but for some reason, "Here Comes the Sun" and "Penny Lane" are immune to it. I agree with you. There are songs that I can't stand to listen to. Sure, I watch over and over and over again. If I'm in the car and "Here Comes the Sun" comes on, I could pretty much play it all the time. Penny Lane comes on, I can play it all the time. She Loves You, I can play it all the time. Um, Let It Be, I could play Let It Be all the time. There's certain songs that I don't know. I don't mind. John and Paul showed the perfect partnership on the Ballad of John and Yoko. I don't think George or Ringo would have made it any better. Yeah, it just goes to show you it's possible, right? As much as I love Lennon, Come Together has massive fatigue factor for me. I can listen to it once or twice a year tops. Yeah, same here. You know how much I love Lennon, and I tire of hearing Come Together on the radio so much myself. What do I think of the song "A World Without Love"? I think it's a great, 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 great recording and song as recorded by Peter and Gordon. I really think out of all the songs that the Lennon and McCartney gave away, that one is the one they should have kept the most. I wish they would have I wish they would have done "World Without Love." Although having said that, I love the Peter and Gordon version. So if the Beatles had done it, we wouldn't have had Peter and Gordon doing it, right? That's one thing. I also like the song "Bad to Me" that Billy J. Kramer did. It's another one they gave away. And also, I'll Be on My Way. I think those are my three, from the top of my head, favorite songs that they gave away: "A World Without Love," and "Bad to Me," and "I'll Be on My Way." I love Layla from Derek and the Dominoes. Absolutely love it. Yep, love everything about it. That's another song. If I'm ever privileged to hear that on the radio or something, I will never turn that off. No way. Oh, does anybody know the answer to this about Paul's grandchildren? Are any of them named Vera, Chuck, or Dave? I like both songs, "Blow Away" and "Love Comes to Everyone." Very good George songs from a very good album, the self-titled George Harrison album. For us who are here in the UK, when Paul is on Saturday Night Live, will you do a video review of it? I probably will. And I'm really hoping it's going to be a very enthusiastic, happy, upbeat video, because the last time he was on, I thought he really, sadly, couldn't sing very well on Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight. And as I said before, this is a hot topic, but not too long after that, it was put on YouTube, and a lot of people, including myself, heard it again and said, that sounds like they fixed it, like they sweetened it up a little bit. They took the bad edges off. Uh, I will always associate Lennon's music in general with Christmas, probably because he was killed during the holiday season. Uh, yeah. Yes, I do like the song "Hold On" very much. It's one of my favorites off the Plastic Ono Band album. Although I hate that little cookie bit. I wish they would. I wish they didn't have that in there. You know, cheapens an otherwise very touching and good song, emotional song. I also like the song "Here Comes the Moon." I like that song myself. I remember when I first heard Plastic Ono Band, the last track kind of creeped me out completely out of nowhere. Yeah, My Mummy's Dead. It's so, I love it just the way it is. It's so stark. It sounds like an old cassette tape. It's not like super sound. It's a perfect, cryptic, creepy track. And I love it because it shows his shock and horror and devastation at the core of losing his mom. I prefer Bebop Alula by John, the John version. Uh, I think the only song they did for the Stones was "I Want to Be Your Man." I think, right? I think they wrote that for them. They wrote "I Want to Be Your Man," gave it to them, and then later on they did it with Ringo on with the Beatles. You've got to hide your love away. One of my very favorites. One of my very favorites. I love that song. Let's see. Yeah, I know what the cookie reference was. Yeah, it was about the Cookie Monster. Yeah, and of course Sinatra sings the word Jack in something. Yeah, stick around, Jack. Yeah. Well, I'm caught up in the comments, folks. We're already here 91 minutes. I don't know how much longer we'll continue. If you want to keep going, just let me know or keep on coming up with topics. Okay, it looks like Paul's grandchildren are not named Vera, Chuck, or Dave. Well, it's not really up to him to name them, right? Yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen the video "You Can't Always Get What You Want." And John and Yoko were there in the crowd. Yeah, John did a fantastic job on "Rip It Up" and "Ready Teddy," the rock and roll album. I would agree with you there. Okay. I'll just wait for comments. That's all. We're getting near the end, I suppose. It's getting very near the end. Do you do you time your live streams? Where are some longer than others? Well, usually with a live stream like this, Q&A kind of talk, I don't really time them. It depends what feels right. You can feel like when it's starting to sink or a lull is coming in. It's kind of like, you know, and that's how I kind of feel it's getting to that point now. You can also tell by how many people you see watching. So, but thanks to everybody watching, as always. Thank you all. Anybody who subscribes, thank you for subscribing. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my other channels. The first one I'm going to show you is this one. And you see what it says, right? It's got TV, nostalgia, pop culture, comic books, autographs, anything to do with pop culture and movies and television, nostalgia, stuff like that. Mr. Cinemayo. And also this other channel, that's my newest channel, and it's still up. Mayo Loves Mondays. Now, if you like my rant videos, some of you may know on this channel here, I have rant videos. Well, the rant videos now, all the new ones and some of the old ones, are now only on this channel, Mayo Loves Mondays. That's where I do my ranting, where I talk about life. We have the Joe and Danny show over there. We do that every Wednesday, Joe and Danny. Uh, yeah, so I really hope you'll consider it. Uh, I don't know why he went with Andrew Watt. I mean, he did play on the Stones with the Stones, but I like Andrew. I like what Andrew Watt did with the Stones. Let's put it that way. So there you go. "Silly Love Song" is a great summer song. Well, I was you weren't even alive then, but it was a great summer song. Believe you me, when it was first out. Uh, I need to watch Help soon. That's a summer tradition, even though I hate summer. You better do it before they ban it, because that's another story. It seems like they're really trying to avoid the Help movie these days. Okay, Yelly man, I'm glad we had a good talk on here. Thank you. Very nice. I have the mispressed rock and roll album from 2015. Apparently, it's a real rarity. Yes, I've heard of that. That was in the box set, wasn't it? I would love an Anthony and Don listening party to the new McCartney album. That would be different. Don is you never get that from Don. You might get Anthony. If I could talk, I might be able to talk Anthony into that. But do you like all the girl groups like the Supremes, the Ronettes, and the Crystals? All the three you mentioned, I like. I love the Supremes. The Supremes are my best. The Supremes, I love the Supremes. To me, are like almost like the female Beatles in terms of hit songs. And the Ronettes I like, and the Crystals. And the Dixie Cups and some other people. I always hated George Martin saying the White Album should have been a single album. Yeah, a lot of people say that, and I feel just like exactly like Paul says. It's great. It's sold. It's the Bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up. Love it. Greatest comment Paul ever made. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Phil Spector was a genius aside from his personal things. I think I know that song, but I think I know it. I think we played that. My girlfriend played it for me. That her album. I like some Joni Mitchell. Hello, Mad Team. Oh, come on. Yeah, funny. Not spoiling the party. Do you think there will be any celebration for 100 years of the jazz singer next year, or is Jolson seen as too non-PC today? I would just guess that they're going to ignore it. They're not gonna pay any attention to Al Jolson. No. Yeah, I like the song Both Sides Now. Okay, all right, Day Tripper. Thank you for saying hello. What are you afraid of? Insects, the dark, heights, etc. Okay, here it is. Cancer or any kind of serious disease. And I hope sometimes I feel like I'm very superstitious. Like I just said that, the other day on a live stream, and look what happened. But yeah, any kind of like serious doesn't have to be that. It could be anything. Serious health problem that kind of gets in the way of the quality of life. I mean, it's okay to have things if you can still have a quality of life, but that's my biggest fear. Yes, indeed, Diana Ross, for sure. I don't even know this song by the Supremes, not by name anyway. The Supremes' 12 number one hit songs of the 60s, more than any other American group, and second to the Beatles. There you go. Exactly. I do like "I Will Survive." I think it's a good song. Although only sleeping. What's going on, Kenny? But then again, at this time, my favorite three Beatles songs: "Every Little Thing," "Paperback Writer," and "Hey Bulldog." Good ones. Vincent Price was notoriously given the choice between that lump sum or a percentage of the album's royalties. Yeah, he couldn't have known how big that album would have been. Yeah, well, we don't know yet that it's going to be ignored, but yeah, The Jazz Singer was the first talking film. It's a big deal. I'm a huge Jolie fan. I have the 80th anniversary edition. I grew up with Al Jolson. What a singer! And then them two films with Larry Parks. Yes, I have heard of this. And the other day, I said so. I'll say it again since you brought it up. I watch Pete Pardo's channel, Sea of Tranquility, infrequently. I go over there from time to time. I'm not really into heavy metal, which is his main thing, but I always like Pete when I hear him talk. And I always watch a lot of episodes of his show, The Monster's Den. Okay. And I also like, for some reason, whenever he would do videos, like any video where he's talking about his channel, how to improve the channel, or this is what's going on lately. I want to talk when he addresses the audience, and he just like have a sit down in a video where you just like tell you things about changes in the channel or modifications. I don't know why I like that. Anyway, yeah, I was really shocked by this, and I wish him the best, of course. There's a GoFundMe page. You can find a GoFundMe page, I think, over there. And I've heard that it's up to in the hundred thousand so far he's received for his care or expenses, whatever, to help out. Okay, good evening. Just curious to hear your thoughts on a possible 40th anniversary reissue of Press to Play this year. Well, the first thing is that'll never happen this year. I just don't think that'll ever happen. There's a lot of other things going on from Paul too, right? So I don't think that's going to happen. But I think, a lot of people know it's not my favorite Paul album, but even if it's not my favorite Paul album, I still think everything should get a big release, anniversary release, including Press to Play. And it actually, I think, would improve the album even more, because some of the songs that weren't on there, like the song Yvonne, is very good. And some of the other certain different mixes, some of the mixes of the songs that were appeared on the album, I like better. So I think, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this year, if ever, but I wouldn't mind. I get it. I've just learned that Billy Joel was inspired to write "We Didn't Start the Fire" after a 1989 conversation with a 21-year-old friend of Sean Lennon, who claimed it was worse to be young in the 50s. I doubt it. I mean, I don't doubt the story. I doubt that it was worse being young in the 50s. Marvin and Diana from 73, one of Motown's best albums for me. Vincent Price was the most British American guy I've ever seen. I'm a little lost with this one. Your memory is great. Maybe because you were a postman, you still remember my name. It's hard. I have a hard time with names. I have a great memory. I have a very good memory. I do. Long-term memory, short-term memory is getting a little compromised. I am in my 60s now, but old stuff, long-term memory, I remember a lot of things. It has nothing to do with being a postman, though. Nothing to do with that. But I'm trying to remember. Only sleeping. Yes, indeed. Kenny. Yeah. Vincent Price's last role before he died was Edward Scissorhands, where he played the inventor. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Speaking of royalties, Don Adams took less salary for Get Smart and took a piece of the show, made him millions. The Jolson biopics, perhaps the only two films that were actually nothing like the person's life. Well, there's a lot of them out there that they not a lot like their lives. What's one band that you can't stand despite everyone else loving? For me, it's Guns N' Roses. I think Axl Rose has the most annoying voice. I like Guns N' Roses. I used to say the Police. I don't love the Police much. I guess. Oh, yes. No, it's going to be, scratch that. Yes. Sorry, Andy Nichols or anybody else. I don't like Yes. What was the moment you decided to start a YouTube channel? My story with that, the best I can recollect, is it was 2011. There was, I was starting to get interested in records again. Because there was a channel out there. There's still a channel out there. You can see his old videos. If you want to look it up, it's called the call letters of the radio station, WABC. WABC Radio 77. And there was a guy on there that played 45s, and he would take the camera and zoom it down on a 45 playing on the turntable. He'd put it on, you'd hear. And it had been so long since I was at a record. I hadn't collected records in a long time. So it was 25 years. I only bought CDs. I didn't buy vinyl anymore. I started getting into vinyl again, and then I started looking on YouTube, and I watched a lot of videos by people here that had big record collections, and I was starting to get into it. I said, I like that. I'd like to go on there and show my records, because this channel started as strictly a vinyl collecting channel. I was in what you call the vinyl community. Now I don't think of myself as being in the vinyl community, although I think even if you still buy vinyl to some degree, you're still technically in the vinyl community. And that's really what made me want to start. I think it took me 7 months to get up the nerve to do my first video, and that was back in this month, actually. This is May of 2012. I think it was May 23rd or 24th. I think it's May 23rd. May 23rd, 2012 was my first video. And I've just grown more. I've done, from there it became a Beatles channel mostly and other things. But yeah, I have records here that I'm going to sell that I'll not get that you wouldn't believe. If I show you these records I'm going to sell, you wouldn't believe it. Some Beatle records here. Yeah, I'm downsizing Beatle record vinyl for sure. Well, when you guys first seen Anthology, did you know who Morecambe and Wise were? Not really. I only knew them from the Beatles Association. Excuse me. And I enjoy watching the Moonlight Bay Hello Bongo skit. It's fun. I've been listening to Driving Rain, not as bad as I once thought. Also, Off the Ground, very good album. But I've always been a fan of Off the Ground. I think it's underrated. I like it. And as far as Driving Rain, I used to hate that album pretty bad, and I don't dislike it that much anymore. I mean, I've come to like, some of it. It's still it still might be my, if I'm going to list my albums of Paul favorites. Of Paul's albums, and I'm going to have a least favorite. And I'm talking, again, least favorite about his own original material albums. I probably put Driving Rain or Press to Play, those two on the bottom. It's just me. I picked up the Half-Speed Master of Flaming Pie, and it's just a great McCartney album. It is. I think Flaming Pie is one of his best. It's in my top 5 Paul albums. Paul has so many unreleased songs. Releases could continue far into the future. That's often what I think. They could make, even after he passes, his family could put out Paul McCartney albums. Vincent Price's Egghead, to me, is better than his part in Thriller. Talking about Egghead from the Batman TV show, for those that not in the know. Did anyone notice George can't take being ribbed by Ken Dodd in a comedy sketch? He starts to lose his rag and quips, "Have you finished?" to Ken. Hated the other 3 laughing at him. I'm drawing a blank on that right now. Marvin and Diana Motown album produced by the Four Seasons, a band member, Bob Gaudio, and other producers involved. Thank you for the information. Yeah, Mike Nesmith of the Monkees wrote Different Drum. Linda Ronstadt made it the hit we all know. Exactly. I love when these people, when they say, that there's people out there that think that the Monkees, they didn't do anything. They didn't really, they did. At first, they were just made as a TV show. True, but they did eventually write songs, play instruments. Mike Nesmith wrote Different Drum, for God's sake. Every Breath You Take, I Never Get Fatigued By, another perfectly crafted song. Well, real quick, that's the first time I liked the Police. It's a story. I was 21 years old. They said, we're going to play the new Police song. I was driving to work one morning, and on the radio came Every Breath You Take. I loved it. I adored it. This was a fantastic song. And I didn't like the Police. I didn't like a lot of their arrangements. I don't want to go into it now. Kind of the way the songs take forever to get started before they get into the chorus. But anyway, this was a whole different pop song, a beautiful song. And, I wound up actually buying it the day after. I went to work that day, and it was in my head all day long. And then I went over to Sam Goody record store and bought it. Hello, so good to see you here, Angelina. I remember meeting you, I believe, at a record show, the two of you. Am I right? The two of you? They were at a record show? Uh, so good seeing you. Um, you should have a listen party for Paul's new album with Danny, Anthony, and Mikey. I like that idea. I like it so much that I'm going to cheer it. Let's hip hip hooray. There you go. I'm not a big Sting fan. I don't know. There's some Sting stuff I like. By the way, I'm more tolerant of the Police now. I don't mind Sting anymore. There was a time when I didn't love Sting. I'm cool with it now. Um, I'm drawing a blank on that. So only Sailing I keep thinking of is Sailing by what's the guy's name? Christopher Cross. Yeah, it's very rare to have the original vinyl copy of Driving Rain. I agree. Many artists, such as Johnny Cash, had multiple posthumous albums after death. Paul will be the same way. Yes, indeed. When they argued, who do you think was the angriest in the Beatles? Um, there's actually stories of all of them getting pretty nasty at times. There are. That's interesting. Of course, John at times could be very angry. Um, but I've seen Ringo get angry too. I've seen them all at some point, including Paul. Joe, you think the Halloween franchise should just stop? Absolutely. I think so. The Halloween series, it's been restarted and changed in so many different directions. And the last one, Halloween Ends, I think it was called, was the worst one in the series. Terrible. Let's see. Yes, indeed. When you watch horror movies from now on, steer clear of zombie films. They're disrespectful to the dead. Yeah, that's my palate. Danny says that. I like some songs by you too. I don't, again, the story. I like a lot of the big songs by you too. A lot of hits. Uh, Mike Nesmith also wrote "Mary, Mary." There you go. Okay. Yes, indeed. Ringo's Vertical Man is underrated, and it would be nice to see a vinyl issue of that at some point. Uh, there's stories of Paul being an aggressive control freak, forcing everyone to play even when they were not in the mood. Well, we've heard stories like that. True. Good evening, Psycho's Platters. What's the good word? I heard the next Halloween is Michael Myers meets Hazel. All right. Wow, we're almost at 2 hours, folks. Let's let it go a little longer. Didn't Paul tell John multiple times to keep Yoko out of the studio? I don't know what it actually ever came to. I don't know about that. It always looked to me like the other three Beatles pretty much sucked it up, and that George was the most intolerant of Yoko being there, from what I understand. Okay, Kenny, see you next time. Kenny's signing off. I've only got a few minutes anyway, folks. I don't really want to go past 2 hours, unless, of course, somebody popped up here as a guest. When I say guest, I'm talking about like you know who, talking about Andy Nichols. I'm talking about Tom Magnotti. I'm talking about Beatley Tone. Matthew Street. People like that. Specifically, the Beatle Channel guys is what I mean for this particular show. But I don't think at this point it's going to happen. So then we'll have to go on longer anyway. And I want to kind of. Well, that's very true. If Paul hadn't been, Ringo always tells this, if he hadn't been so much Paul, if he didn't push the others and control things and try to make it work, we wouldn't have had the Abbey Road to Let It Be. Exactly. Yes, it's true. The other Beatles got pissed. Paul made them do Maxwell Silverhammer over and over and over. Oh, so we aren't good enough for you. No, yeah, Well, it'll be interesting to talk about the new Ringo song, but I don't think it's going to happen today. Uh, a standard vinyl and CD reissue of Flowers in the Dirt will be released on June 19th. Pass. I'm passing on a lot of this. Yes, indeed. Yep. Okay. How hilarious is the gas station scene in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World? You're talking about the scene with Jonathan Winters when he goes crazy and throws the two gas station attendants around. Yeah, it's a great scene. Andrew Watt ruined Happy Diamond CD as far as I'm concerned. I can't even listen to it anymore. For me, it's one of the best things the Stones ever did partly because of Andrew Watt. I think it's a great album. Right now, it's my favorite Stones album. I know that. How's that? That's crazy, right? But it's true. I remember in Get Back, not sure if it was in the Let It Be film, but John being very condescending to George when he introduced I Me Mine, telling George we're a rock band. It's guys being guys, guys being guys. What's the big deal? And also, how about when he was nice to George, helping him write something, coming up with words for something, trying to help him, give him ideas for in the Get Back film for All Things Must Pass? Huh? He was being very nice to George with that. Rank these three films: Airplane, Naked Gun, and Blazing Saddles. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. You might be surprised at the order. I put Naked Gun first. I know a lot of people put that third. Naked Gun first, Blazing Saddles second, and Airplane third. That's just the way I'm in the mood for them these days. All right, I'm going to have to sign off now. We're getting near the 2-hour mark, folks. So thank you. Thank you all, everybody. This has been great. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Always good. And please subscribe to the other channels too, the other two channels, because I have material everywhere and you never know what it's going to be. And a lot of people here used to like to watch the videos when I go on a tear or a rant about something that pisses me off. I know how it is. You're waiting in traffic, it pisses you off. You're on a line at a cash register at a grocery store, and just as your line, you're about to get there, suddenly the cashier takes a break, or maybe she's got to flag down the manager because somebody doesn't have enough money or something. Watch my channel. It's all on the Life channel now, which is called Mayo Loves Mondays, rants and other things. We do the Joe and Danny show. So stay tuned for the Monday show on my movies that I do on the movie channel. Mr. Cinemayo is the movie channel, and on the movie channel, Mr. Cinemayo, there's a live movie show. We have some of these guests, sometimes all of them in different combinations. We have Tim Allen, we have Tom Hunyadi, and we have 4D Man, who's our newest member, and it's a lot of fun, and he's got a great collection. So that's Mondays, Monday late afternoons, usually over at Mr. Cinemayo. Thank you all. Enjoy the new Ringo song with Paul. Paul and Ringo song. The new Paul and Ringo song, Home to Us. I enjoy it. It's quite a good, fun, friendly song. It's just no Penny Lane, and it's not a masterpiece. But I like it. I don't love it.